Hello and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to show you how to glaze and feather your colours for perfect blends. So what I've done is I've got a piece of plastic card here, I've glued it to a base, and I've applied two base coats of Cantor Blue, which is the darker blue, and Calidor Sky, which is the lighter blue. And then what I'm going to show you is how to basically make a glaze, and these are the two colours on my palette. You've got the Cantor Blue and the Calidor Sky. So with the Cantor Blue, I'm going to get it in that little bit of water. It's just paint water from my paint pot. And then I'm going to get a little bit of this. It's about like a 50-50 mix. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of water into this just to thin it down. And it's a little bit thick. And you kind of look at the consistency that I get as I pull it out. And that's a little bit about right for what you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start applying these glazes. And as you can see, I'm just applying that really thin glaze that I made over between the two transitions. And what this is essentially doing is I'm just going to build up the pigment across that, and because it's a mixture of the two colors, it will blend these two areas in together. Now it's going to take a while, probably about 8 maybe 9 layers, and as you can see, it is going to take some time to do. So this is me quite on. I think I'm about 4 or 5 in now. And as you can see, I'm sort of like moving my brush backwards and forwards, and then every now and again I clean off my brush and I sort of pull the colour back into where it needs to be, and this is what's known as feathering. So the one thing that you need to remember about glazing is where you take your paintbrush off is pretty much where that pigment is going to be the most. So I'm going to, as you can see, I'm feathering it backwards and forwards to spreading that pigment out, cleaning my brush off, and then just feathering the ends out. And that feathering will also create that transition and that blend really well. So yeah. So if you like the content that I do, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment if you want to see any other techniques that I'm now going to show beginners. So what I'm going to do is, you've noticed that this is about 8 or 9 layers in. As you can see, the join between the two colors is completely gone, but it's kind of a little bit sort of not smooth at the top. So what I've got is some Calidor Sky, and I'm just going to be like glazing that in over the top, and then I'm just feathering the Calidor Sky over that transition. And I'm going to be later on, I'm going to be making a little bit darker Calidor Sky just to smooth that out completely. And I'm also getting some Cantor Blue and doing the same to the bottom, and this will just smooth out that transition, and which you can see is completely gone. That clear line between the two has been removed. So again, coming back in with the Calidor Sky and then just feathering that out into the sort of mid-tone in the middle. And then, as you can see, I'm pulling my brush back to the edge where the Calidor Sky is the strongest, because that's where I want the majority of that pigment to be. And you can sort of see, this is like real time, like how quickly this paint is drying. A glaze should realistically sort of dry in about 10 or so seconds, maybe a little bit longer, but it shouldn't be wet for a very long time. And you can see on my side of my brush, where on my thumb, that blue paint, it's just where I've just taken off some of the excess paint off my brush when I've had too much on there. So again, just glazing over that just to smooth out that transition, and then just feathering it in just to nicely tidy and clean everything up. So now this is some of the previous first glaze, just putting that back in the middle. And then what I'm just going to do, a little bit of quick wet into wet blending with the glazes. So I've got all 3 glazes on now, and I'm kind of just sort of mixing them in together. just to smooth that transition out as much as I can. And now I'm just going to allow it to dry. So right at the very top, there's that clear line has now happened now. So that line you can kind of see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of the first glaze and just put it into the Calidor sky, just to darken the Calidor sky down a little bit, and then I'm going to glaze over that line. And these are like micro glazes, like you're really just sort of micromanaging that transition with various different shade tones of your sort of base color that you're building into. And as you can see, this is literally real time, so you can see it drying really quickly. And then I'm just going to be glazing back in a little bit more and allowing that to glaze. And every now and again you'll see me sort of feather that color out, which I'm doing now, because I just want to get that pigment spread over that. And then it'll let it dry, and then it'll go back in again. And you kind of can do this, and this is the really cool thing that you can do with glazing, because you can really focus in on areas that you want to be smooth, and then really get in there with little thin glazes. And now you can just see how smooth that's getting. And again, this is real time, so it's not sped up or anything, so you can see how quickly that paint is drying, and it's just super cool. This is probably one of the best techniques you as a painter can learn, because it's so good. Now look how good that transition is compared to what it was like at the start of the video. So I hope you like this one, and I hope you found it informative. So I'm just going to let you watch out the rest of this, and I'll see you in the next one. And that's glazing and feathering. I hope I've tried to make this as easy as I can for you to sort of understand what I'm going for and what I did. But essentially, this is probably one of the best technique in your painting arsenal to achieve as much as you want. You can achieve so much. And a lot of things like the heavy metal style and even like top-end painting will rely a lot on glazing and feathering and things like that. As a good example, the Infernal Brush, who did the squig, the big Mangler squig model that got silver at the last Golden Demon at Warhammer Fest in Manchester. He has said that he did about 500 hours of painting, and a lot of what he spent doing was lots of little micro glazes of mixing the different tones in and then slowly but glazing in to smooth out that transition as best as he can. And it really works because he won a silver. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll try to do a lot more of these sort of videos aimed at beginners. So if there's anything that you want me to cover, leave it in the comments, as well as give this video a thumbs up and ring that bell. And of course, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.